Coach, 3 weeks in or going into the third week of camp, how would you kind of assess where your offense is right now?
I really like where we're at, and our guys they're bought into what we're trying to do, and we've put a lot on them in the last 3 weeks. Just because, like we tell them, we're just trying to give them as much as we can going into a game, as far as a menu of things we can go to and be able to go execute at a high level. And I'm really, really pleased with those guys. It doesn't matter if it's that first group, second group, third group. I think they've all done a good job just trying to absorb all the information that we've given them and trying to execute as best they can.
Coach, you said with the quarterbacks, it sounds like y'all will continue to rotate them a little bit. You said the next 3 days could play a big role in how it goes going forward. Just kind of how would you update that competition?
Yeah, I mean the last 7 months have been big, but this week is huge for those guys. Just just Coach Houston and I wanted to make a decision as fast as possible, just so that guy can get as many reps as he possibly can, with that first group. And it's hard because they've both done a great job. They're both executing at a high level. And the thing about them, they're both competitive as guys that I've been around. They both want it. But it is a huge week, and it'll all come down to the same things that it's been the whole time, just consistency, protecting the football, and making the guys around you better.
There's going to be one guy that's happy and one that's disappointed. Do you talk about that now leading up to it, or do you cross that bridge when you get there?
It's really cross that bridge when you get there because, in both their minds, they think they're the guy, as they should. They both played really well. And I want them that way, but at the end of the day, we got to make a decision, and we got to have one guy that knows he's the dude. He's the guy that we're going to put our faith and trust in, and that we're going to ride with no matter what. And so it's big boy football, and the guys are competing for jobs every single day, not only at that spot, but a couple other spots. And they know that, they're both older, mature kids that have played college football. They know that the job's on the line, and that, only one guy's going to get it.
So you guys got to use Coach Com Saturday during the scrimmage. You were able to communicate with your quarterbacks. How did you like that? How did that go?
It was good. It was a good practice. I'm glad we'll get a couple more test runs at it. The biggest difference on Saturday was actually having the kill switch with the mic going out at 15 seconds. We have not had that obviously in practice without a play clock, and that was nice. And hopefully we don't ever reach that too often, but there will be times that we do. And make sure that I'm locked in and seeing when that thing goes off. But I love it. I think the quarterbacks love it. Just me being able to give them a little piece of information on every snap. It's changed the game for sure.
How much are you learning about your offense and your players with having to deal with all the looks, the stunts, and the blitzes that Blake throws at you defensively?
There's no doubt about it. That's what's encouraging for us, and just knowing how good Blake and those guys are. And I think we know it, but I don't think we quite realize how good they really, really are. I mean, they are deep as can be up front. They give you a lot of different looks. And so for us and our side of the ball, the more success we can have, the more consistent success, sustained success that we can have. It gives us confidence being able to go move the ball against anybody in this league. Because I've got a hard time just imagining us playing a defense that's going to give us as many looks with this quality of players as we see every day in practice. And it's made us better. It's made me better as a play caller, just having to get creative in how we do certain things, because it's not only the scheme, but Coach Harrell and the rest of that defense staff, they're great coaches, man. And they coach those guys extremely hard. They play hard. And that's to be expected. They've done it for several years now. And so it's made us better as an offense, and that's what you want. You want that competition, because at the end of the day, here in about 2.5 weeks, we're going to be on the same sideline, and it's going to be what we want.
How are the big guys dealing with the speed of the tempo and staying in shape?
Yeah, I've said it before. They got the hardest job, especially in fall camp when it's 95 degrees, but that heat index is about 110. It's been an adjustment for them, but now a week and a half, almost 2 weeks into camp, they're starting to play themselves into shape. They can run all they want in the summertime, but until you really go do it and have to go lean on somebody and do it really fast, it just takes time. But they're getting their legs under them, which is encouraging. I thought it jumped on them a little bit in the scrimmage. We came out quick, executed at a high level, and all of a sudden we got tired and we didn't execute at the same level. We missed communications up front, and that just takes time. And the other thing is those scrimmages it's not a real game because they go and then they're up about 5 minutes later. You're not getting that break in between series, and so. But it trains them for the real deal, and I like where they're at. I love where they're at. I love the way that they're playing. They're playing with a certain edge and physicality, and they got to be the guys that lead up front for sure.
Coach used to mention some sloppiness Saturday, and you may have hit on some over there, but how about offensively? Is that fixable stuff you identified and talked to the guys about?
No doubt, and that was the message yesterday. I was disappointed with Saturday, but I was not discouraged. If you're discouraged, you don't have hope. You've lost hope in what you're doing or the people you're around. I was disappointed because I have high expectations for what we have in the room, and a lot of it came down to just not operating when we're tired, and that again that takes reps, it takes time. That first scrimmage, you're 10 days into camp, the guys are still playing themselves into shape for where we need to be. But that was the thing, is everything was fixable. It's not a personnel issue. It's not a quarterback issue. It's simply just not doing the simple things that we've done all spring and all camp. And the guys know that, and that's the thing of where we're at now. I feel like within the process is as soon as things happen like that, the guys know it. That I don't have to tell them. Coach Maddox don't have to tell the whole line. They know when they screw something up, and that's what's encouraging to me, is those guys are starting to figure that stuff out for themselves.
What's it been like having Rajay back full go? How has he looked during camp?
It's been nice. Just not only just the player that he is, but just the leadership. You miss that. Just a guy that's got a smile on his face. That when a run's there, he's going to hit it. But just his overall leadership more than anything. You love the great player, but you love the person even more. And just the energy that he brings. Can't wait to get Marlon back rolling here soon. And I feel really good about where that room will be.
With the receiver room, who's impressing you right now? I know Chase is a little banged up, but who's kind of stepping up in that room?
Yeah, it's really by committee, and I've said that all along, and it's going to take every guy in there, because I could tell you the usual names of Winston and Anthony and those guys, but we had a 5-play cut up this morning in the unit meeting about Brock Spalding and how he's played this fall camp and how he's played with the ball and without the ball in his hand. Times that Jari's been in there, he's been electric with the ball in his hand. You got young guys flashing, which is what you want. And so there is some real depth in that room. The hardest part for us is just going to be finding ways to use everybody. And we've got ways, but we got to get the ball in certain people's hands, because we've got a lot of explosive guys in that room.
Are you hoping once a guy does get into the game that he's in there solely for that entire drive? That way you don't sub, therefore the defense can't? Yeah,
exactly. That's the whole point, and that's why we have mechanics of when we can get guys in and when we can sub. But other than that, they got to know when they're in the game, they don't come out, because of just how we play, how we want to play. When you start doing that, it gets hard to do.
And with y'all obviously been a rotating quarterback throughout camp, has it been, challenging at times to find a rhythm from day to day? Has that been a side effect at all, or is that how would you assess that?
No, I wouldn't say so, because I don't change the way we call the game when either one of the guys in there. They're both really talented. They got big time arms. They're both kind of equal athletically, and so that's what's been nice, for me, just being able to call the game the same way. I don't feel like I have to change anything up from guy to guy. They probably would tell you differently. They probably feel like they struggle getting a little rhythm just because they're looking out there at different times with different people. But that also comes down to just why we want to get a guy in there, that way he can feel as comfortable as he can be with the time that we have left.